This conference will now be recorded.
Right, so register for a 1 month trial wherein I'm just opening the Jira board. I hope you have understood the basic part of Jira, right? So, which I have told you. Now, here there are three different things I would like to mention. So, one is about the Jira which is being used for, I can say four different people. Let me explain you Jira who are going to use it, right? So, first of all, so Jira is a tool which normally uses by four different people. One is product owner uses this because product owners are the people who has to create roadmap for the project, followed by this whatever the backlogs we have to create, everything will be done by the product owner. User story creation, roadmaps, all these will be handled by the product owner. Second, Scrum Master manages right from the sprint plan. The sprint planning means whatever the what we called whatever the Scrum ceremonies we discussed, like something like sprint planning, review. So in between daily Scrum, reviews, retrospections. For all that purpose, normally we have a Scrum Master who will be looking after all that. Whereas the third people who uses this is about Scrum team members. Because whenever we have created a Jira board, usually depends on the number of people are in the project. Usually we have to add people here. Adding people to the existing Jira board is required. It is essentially important first. So whenever we have added people into the Jira board, so we have a provision where we can connect with different tools because Jira exclusively for project management and bug tracking, as we stated. Even for release management, we can connect with other tools. Especially Jira must be connecting to Confluence because where you must be knowing, being a role of a Scrum Master, you must be knowing about Confluence more rather than other ones. Because if you are connecting to DevOps environment, again, that's a different story, right? You have to connect Jenkins,
we
right? So because
we have to add the
yeah,
complete team also in the project before we start any project. We have to add the team members
okay.
also.
Add people who are involving in the project.
So this is done after creating the project or before that?
No, no, whenever you are doing the project, you can add people in that time because normally development team is required.
Hmm.
Development team is necessary. So development team,
Can
why they are necessary? Because
can we see how we add people and how we link them to the project? Okay, there is
start a
also for
team,
invite.
start a team, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Team name, for example, OB, right? Online banking.
Okay. Okay.
So you can add persons here. For example, LSM services, signal.com, right? So where what we can do is we can add people to that, right? You have
Okay.
created where you can see whoever the people are available on your Jira board that can be seen here. That's not anything like because you can see.
Mm-hmm.
So you can welcome your team and you can see like what are all the people are available and all that. So they have to provide the permissions and all. And we
Okay.
have to add people here because I am the admin. I am the one who is going to handle all that, right? So if you want to add so that you can add people. Normally we add everyone. Like means everyone means people who are really involving in the project. Like for example, you require a development team, you require a
Mm-hmm.
testing team, because whatever the activities we are performing, because Jira is the one which can be collaborated with different applications. So what we can do is that we can see different applications can be connected. Means you can connect with Microsoft Teams. For what reason? Because whatever the kind of meetings are you going to conduct in regular intervals, So from that,
Hmm.
Microsoft Teams can be integrated with. For example,
Okay.
in this agile environment, assume that, right? Assume that we are using DevOps teams, right? DevOps environment we are using. If you want to use DevOps environment, wherein there will be different tools are available, something like Jenkins, all that. So these are the different tools. Like Jenkins is a tool which is being used for integration of the code, right? Because to store the code and all, we have a tool like GitHub, Bitbucket, all these things are there where you can store the code, all that. But whereas whenever the code was given, because see, for example, you are a developer, you are working on some piece of work today, right? So where are you storing this information? So this information, you require a repository to store all that information, isn't it? Right. So where do you
Hmm.
store that? Assume that there is a tool called Bitbucket, right? So because there we store all the code. You are a developer, you are writing Java code. Okay. Maybe a user interface designer has done HTML code, or else a database designer has written some database code or something like that. So there are different codes for different reasons, which was written by the multiple people. Understand? They're used by the
Okay.
multiple people. Now what we have to do, there is an integration of code which is required. So for that, because especially these are, it is on DevOps environment, right? If it is in DevOps environment, there is a multiple integration is required. So for that multiple integration, what is needed? Jenkins is a tool which is being used for that reason. So Jenkins, using Jenkins tool, what you do, you integrate the code, what was there, whatever the code you have installed, everything can be integrated into that. So there is a lot of integration which is involved. Hence, there will be a role as Jira admin because yesterday we discussed, right? The Scrum
Hmm.
Master, Jira admin. Because Jira admin is the person who has to integrate all these. Because if you are using Confluence for document collaboration, let's say for example you are a Scrum Master, I'll show you a project which is already there. Then yeah, PY's
Can we start
project.
from
If you see,
the scratch, like by creating the project and then go step by step, like
I'll do it.
first create the.
I'll do it.
Okay.
We'll do that. We'll do it. Great. Okay. So the assume that this is a project. Okay. In this
Hmm.
project, for example, there is a Confluence which I have already connected. So here you have a page called project pages. For example, you are a Scrum Master. So as a Scrum Master, whatever the kind of meeting you have conducted regular meetings, right? You have conducted regular meeting daily Scrum meetings, all that. So all for to integrate all that, there is an option for meeting notes where you can do it. At the same time, if you would like to update the product requirements by anyone who is responsible for that, they also can see this. At the same time, there is a retrospection happened, right? So sprint retrospection after completion of the sprint we are doing. So this is the tool which is being used for the document collaboration. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just creating a project
Hmm.
so that I'll show you from the beginning. Okay, I just clicked on create project. Okay, this is what we are supposed to do since yesterday. Now what I'm doing now, so we have to select among three. One is Kanban, second is Scrum, third is for bug tracking. Now in the left hand side, as I already mentioned here, this is not something used only for application development. This can be used
Hmm.
for any others. Even non-IT people can also use, like human resource people, marketing, finance, all that. Now we are selecting Scrum. The
Hmm.
major difference between Scrum and XP is Kanban is having boards, whereas Scrum and all everything have some backlogs, right? At the same time, we have sprints, all that. But whereas in Kanban, you don't see any kind of sprints, all that. Whatever the work we do, everything will be based on the task. Hence, I'm just selecting Scrum. Okay.
Hmm.
Whenever I'm selecting Scrum, it is asking me two things. One is about, do you want the templates to be used for Scrum? As there are templates which are available, we are clicking on use template. Okay. These are the different templates which are available will be used. Use template. Now, here there are two kind of projects you can see, right? There are two kind of projects we have to see. The first is team managed projects, second is company managed projects. Team managed projects means there will be a team, means for small projects, we can say. For small projects, even for the training purpose and all that, team managed projects can be used with the limited manpower, with the limited configuration. But whereas when it comes to the company managed one, right? Company managed means projects will be large in number. Normally admins, like there will be an admins and all who has to configure all that, right? So because they require some configuration of, as I mentioned earlier, right? So because it's not only Jira we are using, in addition to Jira, there are different tools which will be used by us. It depends on the requirement of ours. We can use different tools, something like as I mentioned, right? So that you can
So
connect
this is not
to DevOps tool
this is Raj, this is
or
not clear to me, the difference between the two. I mean, how we are going to choose which one we have to choose. I mean, team manage or company manage. Is it like small
company
team and
manage.
big
Like
team?
you come, you carry on.
Yeah, I was saying like how to choose between the two. I'm still not clear. Like when to choose team manage and when to go for company manage. Is it like team size and all
This is
matters in
where
this or
that is where I'm explaining, boss. Please allow me to complete.
okay.
Once it is completed, you'll be knowing, right? See, team managed, there is a difference between team and as well as company managed. If it's a team managed, normally for small projects, where you have a small project, where you have small teams, right? So different, for example, only one agile team is there where you are working on small projects, which doesn't require any sort of complexity, also all that. So for that general, this team manage is being used. Whereas company managed means there will be multiple teams, right? For example, there is one team which is at one location, maybe other team is at other location, right? So there are multiple teams are working on the same project, and the project size is big in number. Big in number, we have a lot of sprints, lot of user stories, lot of configuration is required because we have to connect to DevOps environment, we have to connect to different other tools, like for example for releases, right? So you are planning for a release, 3 months release you are planning. Now you want to connect to the release management also. Of course, whether you are using Atlassian tool or you are using what we called you are using Atlassian tool, or if you are using other release management tools outside, that's different issue. But here you required a configuration which must be done by the Jira admins because it's a company managed project which is having large in number in terms of the group size. At the same time, in terms of the configuration for authentications, providing permissions, filters, and all that. So Jira admin has to do all that. It is not usually done by the Scrum Master or Scrum developers, all that, right? That is what yesterday I have told you. Because if it's a company managed project, because in real environment, normally you go for the second one because you require some expert configuration guidance who has to configure all that. Because for the whole project is working on Jira, right? Whatever the updations you're doing, you'd like to you can see the status of the work. Everything can be seen on this. So if you are selecting company managed project, normally Jira admins are the one who is looking after that and who is taking care of all that work. Do you understand? So if it's a company managed stuff, you go for company. Even in real environment, when you are working in real environment and all everything, you normally you have company managed projects. Normally this is what we select. Why? Because there are Jira admins who will be looking after all the configuration issues, all that. Lot of things to be connected with. If you don't have that complexity, then we select team managed projects. Do you understand?
I think team manage is for like simple project having less number of teams and size is also small. And company manage is for the complex one having big teams and big count of teams, right?
Yes, multiple projects
Or
will be there, right? So you require a lot of configuration is involved, lot of
okay.
connectivity is needed, right? You
Mm-hmm.
have to customize the tasks and all that, right? You have to customize the work what we have.
You
So
mentioned
for
somewhere
that you require,
it also include multiple projects also, right? I mean, in company manage, we can manage multiple
yeah,
projects, right?
even
But in
in
team manage, we
fine,
cannot.
even no, even now you can see, right, in team manager project I have multiple projects.
Okay. So this
I
is
already
similar between.
created projects. No, I already created a few of the projects which are there in Jira. I am creating one more
Okay.
to you.
Okay. So all you have created
Multiple
using
projects
team
even
manage.
in team manage also.
Your voice is cracking.
You
Can you
can
please come
you
again?
can add multiple projects even in team managed also.
Okay. But Raj, I'm a bit confused. By what does it mean by adding multiple projects? We are itself adding a single project right now, right? We are creating one project using a template, and now we are selecting the between these two options, right? But we are just creating one project right now, right? Then
We
how
are
does
creating a project. I'll show you 1 minute. See, I'm just selecting team management project, right? We are creating a
okay?
project. I'm selecting team managed. Just see first, right? Select team managed project. Now
Mm-hmm.
it is asking me about the team name, right? Team project name. What kind of project you're doing? I'm just selecting a project name called CRM. Just for the rough purpose, right? CRM.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you can see here, I have which one I have selected? I have selected team
Team
managed,
manage.
isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Hmm. Now you can see it's a new project which I have created. At the same time, you can see other projects also of mine. Multiple projects we have created here. I already have different projects. One project on POS, one project I
Mm-hmm.
have in online banking, other project in an e-commerce portal. I have multiple projects. So the other
Right.
project what I have created in this is CRM.
Mm-hmm.
Understood or not?
Can we
Here,
also create
manage
company manage project also? We can see the difference between the two. I mean, is it different in look
see
wise or like?
company. See, I'll tell you. See, company managed. What happened? Company managed. You need to add lot of groups in that. So that is for that reason it is required. Okay. First of all, let me see. See, this is what the project I have created, right? For team managed. Now I'm creating another project which is something connecting to company. Okay. Now you can see. Now what you can see here. This is a project which is created for team managed, isn't it? Right? So even in team managed also, I have other projects. Along with CRM, I have other projects, online banking, e-commerce, all that.
Mhm.
So now I'm creating a project, something relating to company managed. You see what sort of
Difference is there.
process it will ask you and all that. Okay. Now
Okay. Okay.
I'm creating another project. Okay. I'm creating, and again, I'm creating another project. I'm
Mhm.
selecting the same script using template. Now I'm not creating a project using team managed. What I'm doing, I'm selecting
Company.
company managed project. Okay. Now a company managed project, I'm selecting a project called CRM. Here, as I already being a user, I already
Have one project by
using
this
means
name.
using my email ID only. I am using all these. Which one? This Jira tool I'm using. So either it's a team managed or a company managed existing, there was a project which is already existed. So
By
that
this
I'm
name.
just selecting it ERP.
It's showing
Okay.
the issue
I'm
because
selecting
it was showing the issue because CRM project was already there, right?
ERP
By
project
same
was
name.
there in my account because this Jira application, whatever the tool are we using now, the Jira application is registered on my email ID. Okay, so whatever the projects I have created, either it may be team managed or a company managed. If there is a
Mhm.
project which was already created by CRM, hence it is not accepted. It is saying that it was already there. So I
Okay.
can create CRM extension or CRM1 something of that sort. Otherwise, now I am just naming it as ERP. Okay, ERP.
Okay.
ERP. Now it's a company manager project, Scrum related stuff. Create project. So Jira admin role is more in this. you have Jira administrator role, because they are the one who has to create these configurations of that. Because
Mm-hmm.
this is an ERP board we are creating. It looks the same as it is the way we do these things, as it is the way we do in company managed projects. You so don't see any difference in that. But
Mm-hmm.
why is this required? Why company managed projects we are using? Because we'll be having lot of team members and lot of configuration of tools and all everything to be added, as I mentioned, right? So because we are connecting to DevOps environment, and sometimes we are connecting to the other cloud environment, right? So whenever we are connecting to other cloud environments and all that, so what is required? So we have to have some connectivities and all, right? So some sort of authentication services. At the same time, you have to connect to email. Email configuration is required, right? Or else other site, so you have to connect using web services and all. You have to connect with other sites. So how come it is possible? This is not possible using the company managed project, wherein that is possible only by working with company managed projects only. Understood
No, no,
clearly, right? At the same time,
I'm confused, Raj. In team managed project also we can connect to other applications, na, like Confluence and Slack and Teams. Like we have seen in the previous project, we can still connect. And same thing we are doing in company manage also.
connection
Then how it's
connection is not something like Slack, all that Slack or Microsoft Teams, all that. Aviran. Connection means connectivity means you have to connect to the email configuration you have to do, right? That email configurations and all you cannot do there. It won't, because you have to connect to the server. You have to connect to the server. Server has to
but,
give the acceptance, because for example, if I want to configure your email, can I configure that? There is a permission which is required. So for that, what we have to do, we have to write down some web service for that. Developer has to write some web services for that. Then only I can connect. Simple. I can give you a simple example to you.
Mhm,
Now you are using LinkedIn, Facebook, all that. Okay.
mhm, mhm.
Using which login credentials you are logging in nowadays? Using your Gmail account, you are logging in and you are using it. Agree or not?
Right,
Right?
right.
Yes or no?
Yeah, right, right.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Now you tell me, LinkedIn is a other social networking website. Gmail is exclusively a Gmail. It is for communication system and all. How come? How come LinkedIn has accepted these login credentials? Because it is not in the repository of LinkedIn, right? Because there is no user ID password you have created as separate. Whatever the user ID password of your Gmail account being used to log in your LinkedIn account. How it has happened? Can you expect LinkedIn allows each and everyone to connect to their website? Can they do it? Is it possible?
No,
LinkedIn will allow each and
no,
everyone to
no,
access it.
no.
Then why they have accepted Gmail? Because there is a web services which was written by LinkedIn, means whenever they have developed an application of LinkedIn, in what they have means taking example of LinkedIn. You can name anything, either you can take Facebook or anything. So they have a web services which was written that there must be a connect where they are allowing a connect of Gmail accounts and all everything as a user ID password. This was the web services they have written. They have written in back of it. Who has done that? Developer has to write a web services for that. Normally there are different web services like so UDDI, WSDL, different tools are there. Different simple object access protocols, all these were there. Using those protocols, using those things and all that, they have to connect web services. They have to write web services. They have to connect web services. Then only being a user, if you want to use your LinkedIn account, you are authorized and you are allowed to use your Gmail account. Otherwise, it will not be allowed. Will you accept or not? Right? The same way, whenever you want to connect and or whenever you want to configure emails, all that, right? Email configurations and all, everything is required. So we are not simply we are configuring email, because email credentials will be there. That configuration has to be done by the admin itself, because we need to have permission. You need to have permission from the server. Server permissions are not open source and freeware. Server permissions are paid versions. If you want to use 100% full-fledged company related, company managed projects, you require a licensed software to be taken from whatever the tools you are going to use. Otherwise, 100% usage of this cannot be done. Otherwise, the project remains same. That means the look and feel, output and all, everything are same. If it's a company managed project or a team managed project, it remains same. What is the difference? There is a configuration which is required for you. Configuration is, see, to connect to Confluence, you don't require any Confluence, right? Simply you have an option called connect. If you are
Hmm.
connected, automatically it will get connected to the Confluence. So for that,
Hmm.
you don't require any configuration of thing. But whereas when you are doing for email configurations or server accessibilities and all, if you want to do, for example, during a working of the progress, you want to access an information from some of the databases or something like, right? Will they allow to do it? All that? Not possible. What we have to do, there are some permissions should be written by the by the Jira administrator. So based on that only, we are configuring all the issues. So you need to have a licensed software. First of all, you need to have a licensed version for the one which you are using to use all the features and functionalities, all the features and functionalities. Next, you need to have a server permissions and all everything from whichever the server or whichever the website or your Gmail account or social media, whatever it is. You need to write on the web services. So to write the web services, developer will write the web services. But who configure all that? That will be done by the Jira admin. Understood?
And
Clear?
same things we cannot do in team managed one, right? There we do not
Team
have any
managed
option
is
for.
configuration. You will not be having more complex, because there is no complexity in team management. Because it is for a simple beginner level purpose, Jira can be used. But for expert configuration and all, if you want to do it and all, you
Mhm.
require licenses. See, Jira is not for freeware, right? First thing we should understand, Atlassian is not providing any free services to the customers.
Mhm.
Yes, of course, they are providing free services to some extent, not to the full extent. Point number one. Point number two, even though they are giving free services and all everything for a stipulated duration and timelines, they are not giving full access to you, right? So all the features cannot be accessed by you. That is not allowed. If you want to use it, you have to get permissions and you can use it. For sometimes there will be some projects which are connecting to robotic process automation. I think you might have heard about it. RPA. What is
Mhm.
RPA stands for robotic process automation. Means
Mhm.
there will be some projects which are running on RPA, right? RPA projects we have to connect. If you want to connect RPA projects, what is that you require? What is that you want? You have to connect to the RPA tools, right?
By
They may be
connecting what
using
we,
different.
I mean, we are accessing their files, their script, or what we are
You're
doing by
accessing
connection.
their files, you're connecting to their domain. Their domain permission has to be given to you. Their domain ID will be there, right? Domain ID will be there. That domain ID has to be configured in our site. In our site, we have to configure. How to do that configuration? The configuration
But
has to be taken care of by the admin itself.
no,
Admin
that's
has to
fine.
do that.
But connecting these
Not
things with the with a Jira board, how will that helpful? I mean, what we are achieving by that, by connecting robot or get things with their server with
That's
the
what I'm
Jira.
saying. You are working on robotic process projects. That's what I'm saying. You are working on robotic projects, right? Whenever
Mhm.
you are working on robotic process, robotics means don't think about AI. I'm not talking about artificial
No, no, no,
intelligence.
I know. RPA is something else.
Automation
Yeah, it's automating
automation
the
project.
processes. Right, right, right.
Let us make it simple. For example, you want to develop an automation project, right? Using in agile environment, using Jira tool, you are working on automation project. Now, if you
Okay.
are working on automation project, you have to connect to AI path, or you need to connect with a automation anywhere, or you have to connect with OpenSpawn or Blue Prism. Okay, how do you do that? That has to be done by the Jira admin. How it is going to be useful for you means that is what is required, because you may be working on cloud applications in real environment. You guys may be using automation projects to work on, or you may be sometimes you have to connect with SAP systems, right? You have to connect with SAP systems to access the data and to work on it, right? For example, customer is having an ERP application, something like SAP on that. Now
Mm-hmm.
you are developing an internal application. That internal application must be connecting to ERP. So if you want to connect and see that whether it is working or whether it is to be connected or not, how it is required, you need to connect to the SAP ERP application. You have to connect. How do you connect that? So that connection and all permission has to be taken, right? So that configuration is required. So all these were needed when you are working for a company-based projects. Whenever you are working on live environment, company-based projects, there you require all these permissions. But whereas for the small projects where you don't have any need to connect with SAP systems or mainframe systems, then there is no point required for the configuration. Do you agree or not?
I'm still not able to understand like what's the need for mapping these things. I mean, if I'm working on some project, maybe some module we are working on, what's the need of linking that code base
Yeah,
with the
I'm
Jira?
not talking about that it is
I mean,
your need, right? Did I tell you that it is your need?
hmm, no, but I mean,
Did I
then
say
why this feature
that?
is there?
I'm not saying that is needed to the Scrum Master. I'm talking about the difference between the company projects to manage
No, no,
compare.
that I understood. I'm not talking from a Scrum Master point of view. All I want to understand why we are mapping like Jira board with the development environment. I mean, what we are achieving in that. Is there any
See,
relation like from Jira we are launching their
you are
modules
not you
or
are not completely understand. Boss. I'll tell you one thing. You are working on testing. Okay. Which application
okay,
you are working on testing?
like currently routing,
Which
for example.
application you are working on testing? What sort of
We,
application is that?
it's a video route,
Huh?
video routing,
Huh?
video
Video
routing
routing
the
application.
right.
Okay. Means is it a enterprise application or it's a cloud application?
No, it's an you can say system-based application, not on cloud.
System based application. Now,
Hmm.
now you want to use automation projects. Now you want to work on automation project, or you want to work
Okay,
on cloud application using
okay.
using your agile environment, using Jira.
So
You are doing
let
it
let's
because Jira
let's take an example of
is
cloud
for your
application.
project.
We also have a let's take example of cloud application. We have a cloud application also, which is a user
Hmm.
access application. So yeah, UAT application you can say it's
You need
based on
to
cloud.
access the data from the cloud. You need to access
Okay,
data from the cloud application. How do you access that?
we have a
Will you
link.
copy and paste here? You are saying something. What is that? The link
Yeah,
is
I was
required.
saying there. Yeah,
Who
in
is
the
creating
URL.
links all?
Sorry.
It's not URL. You have to connect the links, right? It's not only URL, right? Domain connectivity is required.
Right,
Domain link
right,
connectivity, you need to
right. To
configure that
server. Yes, yes.
IP address
Right,
configuration. All that is required.
right, right, right.
Are you doing it? Being a Scrum Master, it is your responsibility.
No, no, I am not doing that.
It's a responsibility of a product. Is it responsibility of a development team? Whose
See,
responsibility is that?
like server team is there to map the server with the IP and all that stuff. So
That is
dev team
what
is
I'm
just
saying. Server, there must be a server configurations, all that is required. If you want to manage live environment projects, these sort of projects, you
Mhm.
require company managed environment. For company managed environment, you are working on this. Otherwise, you can see an option for team managed only. So why you are going for company managed projects? Because of that reason, this reason. Understood now? Clear?
I don't know. Maybe I'm blank today. What I do, I'll just go through the recording again tomorrow, and then I'll come back with the questions.
Okay, fine. Okay, then we'll meet tomorrow. Bye.
No, we can continue, Raj.
There is nothing to continue, boss. What to do? You tell me what to do first. What to do now? What do you want me to do?
Like we can continue like the next step for the project, like creating the epics and
Yeah,
stories.
what I have to do? Do I want me to? Do you want me to do in this or that?
Sorry, your
Do you
voice
want me
is
to
like.
work on company-based project or team managed project?
I think both are like same because you mentioned that in company also we need license only if we want to connect them to any service
So
or
which
things
one
like
do
that.
you want me
Otherwise,
to use? I'm asking
we,
you, is it
we,
company managed project or team managed project? Which one I want to use? Choose.
let's go with the company one.
Think
Let's
this
go
is
with
the
the
company
company
one.
one. Right, this is a company one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what
So, yes. So let's
this
go
is the company
ahead
one.
with this.
Whatever we have to do
Right,
is
right,
the
right,
company one. Okay.
right. So
Now
let's go ahead with this.
here we have to create a roadmap. If you want to
Hmm.
create a roadmap, what is that you require? First of all, you need to have epics, isn't
Okay,
it? You need to have
right,
epics.
right.
Now you tell me a few epics relating to ERP. Tell me some features. Epic means feature. Tell me some features.
Okay. Like as a user, I should be
First of
able
all,
to
we
create
have to
my.
write down the epics.
Sorry.
First of all, we have to create epics. In that
Okay.
epic, we have to write down the user stories. That is what
We cannot.
generally we have to do.
Okay, so we cannot like directly write down the user stories. Like if we are sure that okay, like Epic is a combination of related stories, right? So there is no
User
option to.
story, user story is a part of that feature, right? That part of that
Hmm.
epic.
Hmm. Okay, so we have to
User
start
story
from
is
the
a
Epic,
functionality.
right? So we have to start with Epic. Okay,
First of all, we have to write down the epics. Without writing epics, how can you write user stories directly?
okay, fine.
User story is a functionality. Okay, I'll tell you a simple point first.
Hmm.
There is a feature for mobile enability, right? For example, mobile enability is the feature was given to you.
Hmm.
So mobile enabled application is a feature for some of the application for booking tickets or something.
Okay.
If you want to use that feature for mobile enabled, what are the functionalities required? There must be an option for registration, right?
Hmm.
After
Hmm.
once you have registered, you will be
Right.
having a
Login.
functionality required.
Login.
Well, login, right? So once it is login, once registered, after that login. After login,
Hmm.
you can choose that if it is assume that it's a book my show kind of app, right?
Hmm.
Kind
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
app. What you
Right.
have to do, first of all, you have to select the location, which city you are belongs to.
Right.
Select the
Source
location.
destination.
After that, select the location. You can see all the
Oh.
number of movies based on the classification, right? English, Telugu, Hindi,
Hmm.
something
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
that sort, right? All that will be
Hmm.
there. So in that you are selecting Hindi movies. In the
Hmm.
Hindi movies, again there are different list of movies. So this is what. So if you are a customer, if you want to work on this, what is that you
Hmm.
require? There must be a code which must be written on back of it,
Hmm.
right? So each and everything is called as a functionality, right?
Right.
Functionality.
Right. Right.
So if you want to write down the functionality as a form of user story, under which epic means in terms of the feature in simple terms to say, where are you writing all that?
Hmm.
Where are you writing
That.
all that? You have to write down the epic, right? So there are different features.
Okay.
Understood or not? See, I'll tell you an example. For example, there is a point of sale system. I'll show you 1 minute. For example, if you take point of sale system, right? In this
Hmm.
point of sale system, there are different features. Okay, features for this point of sale system are as follows. One is billing. Billing is one feature. Second,
Mm-hmm.
sales monitoring, inventory management and stock, cross-channel returns, customer relationship, employee management, employee loyalty program. So these are the different features, or nothing but you can call it as epic. Now, if you want to perform, you are a user, right? You are doing billing, right? You are doing billing for your customer. Now, being a customer, being a end user, right? You want to use this option as billing in your POS application. What is that you require? You have to
Items.
scan an item. First of all, you
Mm-hmm.
have to scan the items. Once you have scanned the items, what is that you have to do? Means the whole, right? Whenever you scan an item, automatically scan an item will be displayed, followed by the cost. What you
Mm-hmm.
do being a end user, you are just simply mentioning an quantity, right? For example, someone is buying bath soaps, right? How many soaps they are buying? Four. If you mention it as four, automatically it will be multiplied and the total cost will be shown there, right? Or not? So you have scanned the items. Whenever you scan the items, automatically a code which was written in back of it for multiplication and all that. So the total, including the tax, everything and all, everything, for example, 5,000 rupees, right? 5,000 rupees is the total amount. Now, what you have to select what sort of payment mode customer is, right? Is he paying through card, or is he paying by cash or something? So for that, this is one functionality. Now, if there are any discounts which are available for the particular products and all, automatically it will be shown to you, right? 1+1 offer or 1+3. So for adding discount and all, there is one functionality which you have to write as a program. You need to generate order invoice, at the same time you have to reprint the email invoice, all that. So these are
Okay.
the functionalities which will be a part of billing order process, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how many user stories you are writing? You are writing user stories for all
Five.
these. These
Okay.
call it as functionality, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, for example, in agile environment, we are developing all the whole requirement related epics you are writing. But whatever is there in the epic, all these may not be required for the customer. For example, in this epic, he is required scan items. After that, he might require something relating to insights, or he may be relating to the transaction. In each and every epic, whatever the user stories, whatever the functionalities, that is what required by an MVP. So what you have to do first? First, you have to create epics. First, you have to
Okay.
create epics.
Epics.
Each and every epic must be accompanied with some user stories. For to write down the user stories, that is nothing but the functionality. Understood? Clear? Right?
Right. And we do not prioritize the epics, we prioritize the user stories, right? Or we can prioritize the epic
Yes.
also.
We prioritize the user story, irrespective of epic, because they see there is nothing guaranteed that what are there in the epic will be developed in first. Right? There is nothing
Okay.
as guarantee. Right? Nothing like,
Okay.
right? For example, in epic there are four user stories. In the first
Mm-hmm.
priority, we may not be taking four. We may be taking one. Right? Maybe other priorities we are taking from other epics. So
Okay.
first
So
of all, what
mismatch
is
can be there.
required when you are creating a project? What you have to do first, you have to create a roadmap. If you are a product owner, I'm saying, okay. If you are a product owner,
Mm-hmm.
if you are, it's not a
Mm-hmm.
part of Scrum Master. Point to be noted.
So these
It's not a
things
part
like
of.
epic Scrum Master. So like these epics and user stories will already be there in the backlog or roadmap by
You
created by
have
the
to.
PO, right?
It will be done by the product owner. After that, Scrum Master comes into picture.
Okay.
Understood?
So in like during this phase, the Scrum Master is nowhere involved, right?
Scrum Master won't be involved here. Once the epic is created, whenever the backlog comes into picture, right, you will be seeing
Mm-hmm.
all the items in this. In the backlog,
Okay.
you can see all the items. From here
Okay.
onwards, you are doing sprint planning. From there, Scrum Master comes into picture.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Do you understand now?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So what we have to do, first of all, we have to create different
A
different
roadmap.
epics,
Okay.
different epics. Once we have
Hmm.
created an epic, for example, we have created an epic. Each and every epic will be accompanied with some user stories. For example, epic for ERP,
Registration.
for example, registration. For example, right? This is an epic we have created. Okay,
Hmm.
just for the sake of this is one epic. Now, in this epic, you have to write the user stories.
Okay.
There is an option called create changes, isn't it? Right?
Hmm.
Here you have to write down the user story. How many user stories you are writing? How many user stories? How many functionalities we have? It need not be a functionality. Of course, it's a non-functionality and security also.
So,
So how many functionalities we have? How many user stories you are writing under the registration?
Raj, one more thing.
Again, after that, you
Uh,
are creating.
just one more thing. Like child for Epic can only be user story, or we can also add the enhancement or bugs.
Bugs also. But now, as of now, we don't require bugs all that, right? You
Okay,
have to
so we
write
can
down
add
the
both.
story.
Okay.
First of all, we have to write story.
Hmm.
After that, bugs. That's a different thing. But here, what we have to do is we are creating user stories first. Without story
Okay.
creation, without developing that story, bugs cannot be
Hmm.
identified. Do you agree or not?
Right. So Raj,
Understood or
like
not?
for example, yes, this I understood. Like during the ongoing project, we get some feedback, and against those feedback, we have to log some issue. So for those issues, also we have to create the epic first in roadmap, or we can directly create the issue in the backlog. In that case,
No, whatever the logs you have to create and all for that particular epics and all that can be created.
no,
You
no,
need
no.
not create other epic again.
My question is like one like this roadmap backlog is there in picture, right? And we are working on the
Hmm.
like we have sprint planning. We are like working on the sprint. During the review process, we show the product and we get that okay, these things need to be modified or these things need to be corrected. And for that, we decided to log some issues. So in that case, we will be adding the bugs or issues directly in backlog as in bug, or we will be again going back to roadmap and creating an epic for the same, and
No,
then
no,
mapping
no,
it
no.
to bug.
Of course, means in the roadmap itself, whatever the bugs you want to add, you can add on the bugs later. For example, you are writing a user story here. Okay. After the user stories,
Hmm.
first of all, you have completed all the user stories. After user stories completion, there is a
Okay.
prioritization of sprint and sprint planning. Then
Hmm.
people have started working on it. On a
Right.
particular functionality, there is a bug which was created or
Hmm.
which was identified. So
Hmm.
what you
Hmm.
have to do is you can go to the roadmap wherever whatever the functionality in reference to the particular epic. There
Hmm.
you can select an option for bug and you can write
Okay.
down the bug there. For example,
So
here
like
you can
against that,
create a bug.
okay. So against that epic, we have to again create that bug in roadmap, right?
Yes, here. See, here there are three options under this. Either you can,
Okay.
it is your choice. If you want to write in a user story, you can write. This is for user story, right? For example, if you want to write down the task, you can write down. Or else, if you have identified a bug, you can write down the bug.
And Raj, for example, there is
That
one
is
more
your
condition like during the demo, client come up with some new enhancement. So obviously there will not be any epic or user story for that enhancement in the roadmap or in backlog, right? Because this is something new which comes into his mind. So in that case, how we are like catering these changes? Are we adding some enhancement in roadmap in that case, or like how it's been handled?
which enhancements, the delivered ones or the non-delivered ones?
No, no, no. Like during the review, like we are demoing one module, right? For example, we demo
Hmm.
that okay, we are creating logging page and logging page is workable using email ID. That
Hmm.
was the requirement. But after the demo, the client came up with an enhancement that user should be able to log in using mobile phone also. So this is something new
Hmm.
enhancement for us. So in that case, again, we have to go to roadmap and create a new epic.
No, 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 no. What we do is that has to be written as a separate user story, and you have to put it on the second sprint.
Okay, in the registration epic only, we will be adding a separate or new
The
user
second,
story for that.
Yeah, you have to create a user story because that one you have to put it on the second level sprint.
Right, right.
In the second
I
sprint, we
mean,
put it.
so roadmap is also not kind of freeze thing, right? It's also volatile and it's keep on
Roadmap,
changing.
roadmap is the one which will be explained you about the whole structure of the project. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? Based on the roadmap, based on the epics and user stories, whatever you have, only prioritized ones you are taking. You are not
Mm-hmm.
taking everything, isn't it? You are not
But
developing
at the
everything on one sprint.
right, right, right. But what I meant to say is that like roadmap is also not what do you say static one. It's not freeze, right? It's keep on changing based on the feedback from the client.
Keep on changing means you do that, because keep on changing means, see, it won't change. You are doing add-ons, that's it. You are not changing anything. You're adding it. You're adding
Right,
few
we're
more
adding more.
functionalities, right? So the
Right,
mobile
right.
enabled other user story, you're adding it, right? Whenever you
Mm-hmm.
add, what will happen? Again, it goes to the product backlog. Again, product backlog
Okay.
refinements has taken place. Whenever product backlog refinement happened, immediately that if it is required and all, we can plan it on the next sprint. In the second sprint, we can plan that.
Mhm. Okay. And one more thing, Raj,
Understood?
like the grooming, right? And the grooming sessions we take like take place for the backlog or for the roadmap.
Product backlog. Backlog will be groomed, not roadmap.
Okay. Okay.
Because
Fine.
through backlog you are creating a sprint, right? Not from the roadmap
Mhm.
directly.
Right. 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 Got it.
Because roadmap is giving you a high level understanding.
Right.
Okay. Whenever you are
Mhm.
going to the backlog, see, you can see the project, other projects I can show you. For example, if you can go to my e-commerce portal, I'll show you that. You can see here there are different roadmap. For roadmap, we have created epics. Each and every pick
Mhm.
is having different user stories. You can see here, right? All the user stories are there. Now,
Mhm.
all these user stories are in the backlog. From this backlog, what we did from this backlog, we have created a sprint and we have uploaded the user stories. Now,
Okay.
few more was added. Again, we are adding in the roadmap. Automatically, those will get reflected in the backlog itself in the beginning, right? So whatever the
Mhm.
grooming and all everything, that is based on your
Um,
discussion, right? Your agile team is discussing finally, and finally you are coming to a
mhm.
conclusion. After that only you are going for a sprint. This product backlog grooming and all
Okay.
everything is a continuous process you are doing.
Right.
Understood?
Right. 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 And yes, yes, yes. And is there any like are we also managing the release plan in Jira somewhere or it's like
Release
where it's
plan
been
will be
managed?
there. Release
Like how
plan will
many?
be done by the management team will do that. Release planning all that.
So it's not
Because
there in the
three
Jira.
months release. Yeah, because for that you have to connect to release planning software tool. That is what I am saying.
Okay. So in roadmap, we actually do not have any idea like how many sprints we are planning.
That
Roadmap
that you
doesn't
that
show.
product owner will decide, right? How many use epics and all everything that will be decided by the product owner.
No, no, not epics. Like how many sprints will be required? Like for example, there are maybe 10 epics, and each epic has
Hmm.
maybe four user stories, right? So
How
40
many
user.
sprints required? It depends on the velocity planning again. For example, velocity planning you are doing unless until if you have not completed two sprints, velocity planning
Hmm.
cannot be done. Okay, velocity
Okay.
planning cannot be done. So velocity planning may what we do, for example, in one sprint we have four user stories. Okay, four into
Hmm.
two, eight story points. We have.
Hmm.
I'll tell you this velocity. I'll tell you this point tomorrow. Simple thing
Okay.
is, see, velocity planning you have to do. Based on the velocity planning, you will be coming to know how many sprints more required for you to complete this release plan. Understood?
So do
In
we
the
manage that
velocity
in
planning,
Jira?
you will be doing about how many more sprints to be created in this release plan.
Okay. So do we manage that also in
For that,
Jira or is it?
you have to complete 2 to 3 sprints. You have to complete.
No, that I understood. So are we managing this also in through Jira or we having some other like other tool for that?
Release planning you have to do. You have to connect to the release planning tool. That's what I'm saying, right?
Okay.
You have Bamboo, all that, right? There is a release planning tool that you have to connect to Jira. Otherwise, how do you do the release planning?
Okay.
You have to
Fine.
connect to
Got
the
it.
release planning. That is what I'm saying since beginning, right? You have to connect to different tools. Jira is only for management. If you want to do release
Okay.
planning, what is the where you do that? In the release planning tool itself, you will do it. So for that, what you require, you need to have a connect to the release planning. In Agile, we have Bamboo. Maybe you are using other tool from outside, some external tool you are using. You have to connect with that Jira. Then only release planning can be done.
Raj,
Otherwise, you
I'm like, I think there's some contradiction. Last week, if you remember, we discussed this thing, like regarding the release plan. That release plan is there after once the backlog is created, we start working on the release plan. And there we, on the high level, understanding from the dev team and PO, we kind of gave an estimate that okay, this for this release plan, we will be requiring 10 sprints, right? But
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
right now you said that for really like number of sprints we have to calculate the velocity first, and for
Yeah,
velocity we have to
yeah,
wait for two
yes,
or three
yes.
sprints.
I'll come to the point. I'll come to the point. For release plan, initially we have thought of 10 sprints, right? That is what earlier I told.
Right,
Now,
right.
whenever you have started the work, then only you come to know the actual capacity, right? Whether are you going in the
Okay,
right direction or not.
okay, okay, okay. Got it.
How
So
can you
one is
ensure,
like
for
based on the
example,
assumption.
based on the situation, based on the velocity, that velocity
So one is
calculation has to be done.
right. So what I am getting from this is like the in the initial release plan we gave the number of sprints based on the assumptions and understanding. But after two or three sprints, we give the actual
Yes,
estimation at
we come to
no
know
was
the
maybe.
reality. We'll come to the know
Okay.
the see. For example, one sprint may four user stories, two user stories completed, right? Two
Okay.
more
Okay.
user stories had to be done. Second user story may there are two completed, two balance. How many total four user stories were there? Balance. How many we have
Mm-hmm.
completed out of eight? Four completed, two from one sprint, second in two sprint. How many story points? Assume that we given two story points for all the user stories. So first
Mm-hmm.
sprint four, second sprint four. Eight stories completed. Eight is the
Okay.
understand clear.
Right.
So based on
So I
that,
think
you will be knowing about what is the capacity of our team to do it. So based on that, how many more sprints to be created and what would be the length of that sprint? Either it can be completed in 1 week or 2 week sprint or 4 week sprint. That will
mhm.
decide. But make sure that must be below than the deadline of the release planning what we have made.
Okay.
Understood? Clear?
Right. So initially we gave an points, but
That's
that
an
can
assumption,
change
but it will
and get
not.
changed.
In reality, it will be different,
Assumption.
right?
Right.
It will not be the same all the time.
Right. Okay. So it gets
Understood?
changing on. Fine. 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 Right.
Right. So unless until if you start working, how come you know?
Right. So like it's
Right.
like
Unless
only after
until
like completing two or three sprints. Right. So it's like only after completing two or three sprints we give the actual estimates and okay, boss, based on the velocity, this is the number of sprints count that will be required, right, for the release plan. Right.
yes, really based on the velocity, we calculate how many more sprints required. Okay.
Right. Fine.
Okay then. We'll meet again. Other students are waiting for that. Okay. We'll meet
Are we
tomorrow.
meeting this
Hmm?
weekend?
Yeah.
Are we
Yeah.
planning for this
Tomorrow I
weekend?
conduct. Sunday I'm not conducting. Tomorrow yes I'm conducting.
Okay, okay. Just WhatsApp me whenever what time suits you.
Yeah. Tomorrow I'm conducting on the same time. Same time tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, same time. Okay, okay, okay,
See you
okay.
then. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, bye.